That's something that scientists are settled on. It's the uncertainty principle, which I believe means we don't actually know anything. I'm like 90% sure that's what it means. It's nothing to do with mass or energy. It's to do with we don't know anything. It's a mistake. Oh, someone's here! Mallow!
Hello.
Oh my god! I'm completely out of focus. Hold on a sec. I can just about reach my camera. There. Great. Beep. Now. Oh my god, people can see the thing. Oh wow, it's happening. We're doing this. For all two of you, we're waiting for Shannon. Shannon's not here yet. It's my fault.
I'm one of the three watching now. Is also something to
Aw.
keep in mind.
Yeah. I was kind of joking, but you're right. It's probably just one. Oh wow, Ace. Yes, it's happening. We're live. I've set it up appropriately, and it's probably not also streaming to Twitch somehow. So I made a horrible mistake. It turns out daylight savings is real, and the way I converted the times across didn't account for that. I typed it into Google. In fact, I'm going to do that right now, so you see. 10:30 p.m. GMT and EST. Wait, that's not it. No, that's right. It's 18:30, 6:30, but apparently it's not. It's not 6:30. You know, what time are you like? So what is it? Apparently it just went 6 now. So that's just a lie. Straight up, like Google doesn't do daylight savings.
I mean, it is like bad.
That's proven Google bad. So there is that, but also maybe I could have like checked at all. So it's on me really, but let's blame mass conglomerate for it.
It should always be daylight saving time.
Yeah, the daylight should always be saved. Why is sometimes daylight bad? It's just not fair. I also haven't eaten my dinner yet. I realised that maybe we'd have another half hour on our hands before we could start, so I made dinner. I put my food in the microwave. And it's just out of frame, so now I have to watch my... It's kidney beans and chili sauce with rice.
Delicious.
Yeah, so that's what happens. Oh wow, my camera thing almost works for this position. Great. It's all set up, almost as if I set it up like this on purpose, but it's not. It was an accident. Oh gosh.
Oh, there you are. I can see
It's
video
me.
in video.
It's me. It's Pip. It's picture in picture. The magic of technology. Oh, there's some rice caught in my throat now. I'm a professional producer of quality content for the internet.
That's effective.
Oh, I've got to check Facebook. Hold on. Yeah.
I got some sharp water with me.
Okay. Okay, Shannon's up. Now, does she have Discord? I don't remember.
Oh my goodness. This is an oversight and a half. Like I thought this was part of the arrangement.
What, Discord?
Like everyone being on the same platform.
Oh, I was like, we can do Skype or Discord, probably. I know where it's got Skype and Discord, and I haven't, but I don't know what Shannon has, so we'll work around that. And now we're like, we're like 6 minutes deep in the stream, and I'm like, wait, Shannon, did you want? I was like, I probably should have planned this a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to figure out what link you'll be streaming to, before you're streaming. So I had to hit stream to generate the link. So I think YouTube is not a good platform for live streaming, really. But it's you can stream unlisted. So
Harry, I thought capitalism drove innovation.
Yes, that's exactly what it does. Oh God. Capitalism's great until the exact moment that it separates from democracy. Oh, sweet. Yeah, okay. Shannon has Discord. It turns out I was right. It's happening.
Everything just happened to work out.
Yeah, okay. Find or start a conversation. Find. How do I? I'm gonna make a ad. Hold on. I'm getting here. The cogs are turning. I'm figuring out how to create a group DM. Oh.
I can't.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Shanna, we're live. So don't say anything rude.
Don't say your phone number.
Yeah.
Oh no. I have so many rude things prepared.
I begin all phone. I begin all phone calls by screaming my postcode and address. So I know to warn people before.
I need to turn off push to talk so you can hear me opening this can of sharp water.
So nice. Oh my God, 13 people. Yes. It's happening.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry I was late.
No, it's okay. It's literally my fault. I gave you a time that was wrong by an hour. Like.
Okay. Here we go. Just gotta.
Oh.
So
sharp water.
That was so crisp.
Oh, it was a crisp opening, and I'm glad that we preserved it for the stream. So, while we're here to talk about everyone's favourite video, the Kunst Saga, how the right wing views modern art, produced by my friend Eric Taxon.
Oh wow! I didn't know that was what it was about.
That's what the stream's about.
Oh God, I'm so ill prepared. I haven't seen that video either.
Oh,
what am I doing?
So no, I just was reminded. Like, a thing I think is really beautiful about this video is you can, because you have a camera and a mic, at any time cut to you talking, and that's like the thing people do in these React videos. They cut to themselves and they talk, and it's not edited, and it's an hour long, and it's rambly, and you do it for like 20 seconds at the most, and it's like. I shouldn't be streaming your face on. Well, actually, no. You made this video. 55,000 people have seen it. It's great. Everyone should watch it. But like, you just use it at the exact moment when it works, and that's like, I think that's great. It's good. I like it. I even hit like on the video. I engaged with the content.
Yeah. It's an okay video. Like, the one thing, like, I should have explained the ending a bit more. Because, like, I say modern art breaks capitalism when I should have said modern art breaks the illusory meritocracy that capitalism pretends to provide.
Yeah,
like,
I think the way you say it is a lot punchier, but the way what you mean is a lot more specific and valuable. Yeah, it's interesting seeing, like, when you were working on this, you spoke of it like, this is going to be my magnum opus. I've worked really hard on this. This is great. It's my best thing. And now it's out. You're like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's fun watching people's standards develop. Like, once the thing is done, you can go on from it, and that's kind of cool.
I mean, it's my best video, but it's like, it's not good.
Oh yeah, it's awful, but like, it's a really good try. I'm kidding, it's great. I liked it a lot. Oh my God, if you scroll down, you see this one. Oh wow. Oh, that's great.
Wait.
I didn't realize this. The thumbnail for Is Sonic 2 About Capitalism, like when you highlight it, it does the thing where it cuts between all of the violent bits of Control Delete.
Yes.
And that's great.
And also, if you see the Undertale video, the clip is a clip of Super Meat Boy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Hold on. Oh, for me it's just Flowey talking. Oh, maybe it picks a random time. How does that even work?
Is from the video. It'll start at that moment, I think. But I guess if not, it's random. And it was like, if it was just a thumbnail, then that starts moving, and I'm like, whoa. Silence my...
Oh. That's a good point. Oh, wow, I forgot about this. Oh god, like a year ago I emailed, I got a tip that Blind Ferret, like, did not enjoy working with Buckley, at all. So I emailed some people who'd worked there at the time. I was like, hey, do you have any cool stories? And they were like, it was a normal job, you know, he paid us to make the thing. Yeah, they basically said, like, we won't, you know, we still want to have careers. We're not gonna go on the record about the thing. And also adding to it are, like, there are a bunch of, like, fake quotes from the person who runs Blind Ferret, going around saying things like, we lost money on this, we'll never work with him again. But those quotes have been going around since prior to the production of a second season of that show, so so that's false. Oh my god, we're actually here. We're almost starting. I just haven't eaten anything, so I'm still eating my dinner, so amuse people for me.
This is I am very happy with how this video turned out. I mean, your video, this is Sonic 2 about capitalism.
Yeah.
It is pretty different from the script that H-Bomb gave me, like, to pitch it to me.
Yeah.
And like, it's the same thing that happened with the Soy Boy thing. Like, there a lot of things in the video had set up that now just isn't there.
Yeah.
Like the switch at the end had a lot clearer of a setup, but now it's just a switch.
Yeah, there's so much. It was so different. In fact, I in preparation, I have for behind the scenes material, I have a copy of the original script right here that we're going to go through at some point when I'm done eating. But we did it. I planned this. I plotted this out. I have a special premiere project opened up with all the stuff I filmed while I was making stuff.
The room segment had a very clear reason to be there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just suddenly now we're talking about the room.
Yeah, that's the thing that, like, was a huge change, was like the entire story of the video was shifted around. Mostly because it turns out filming a two-person scene when you're both characters by yourself is really hard, and making someone else film you doing it is even harder. In a perverse way.
How is it harder? Someone else do it.
Because you have to, like, walk them through how you imagined a set of shots, and then also perform in front of them this bizarre thing, which is very hard to do. Actually, I have a bunch of stuff I can show off actually of that in a sec. Sorry, I realized I hadn't eaten and was like, I could probably eat because I realized I'm an hour off, and then I made the dinner and then we started. Oh dear.
But the content of the video is still intact, pretty much. Like the meaning of it.
Yeah, I think the point was made successfully, just differently, and perhaps I think a lot less bluntly than it was going to be. Like, it was, I think there was a lot of, like, fluff that I wrote that no one told me to take out, because the video is such a nightmare that it's very hard to tell what could be cut. It's like, you know,
but before I even saw it, you told me, like, oh, I just deleted a 900-word tirade on the nature of satire.
Yeah. I was like, this is a whole other video. Like, not to compare myself to the great David Lynch, but much like the great David Lynch, you know, if
commenters did.
Really? Yeah. Well, in that case, that makes it okay. In the words of one commenter, my greatest critic, "Yee haw."
And then we had yay haw.
Yay haw. Yeah. But if I actually, I can turn the camera on this shot. Oh my god. But if David Lynch wrote a script and handed it to people, it's like, hey, can you give me notes on this? That's how he sounds. He would, like, people would go, yeah, this is alright. Like, they wouldn't know what was good or what wasn't, really. Like, it's very hard to tell. So, basically, I asked people for notes on the script, and people did their best, but the only, like, major advice I got was from Dan Olsen, who said, good luck filming this. Like... and he was right, I had to make a lot of changes.
Yeah, like, but it was that first version of the scripts that I read that sort of dictated how the soundtrack would sound.
Yeah.
Like, I made music based off of the feelings I got as I was reading the scripts. Especially near the end, like those pieces are very much just directly, because that's why that's what's interesting about this thing. It's the first time that an album really wasn't fully of my creation, because it exists wholly because of this video. I never would have made anything even remotely like it if not for this video.
Nice.
It's cool.
That's cool, yeah. And then the same day you released another video. Of another, well, not video, another album.
Yeah, I had two things done.
Yeah. It was great.
And I think they kind of accidentally complemented each other in a weird way.
I shot a version of this that was in focus and thought it was less good. There was also a joke where I like go to crack the disc and then say these discs actually cost quite a bit of money, so I'm gonna be more careful and like carefully put it back in the box.
Right.
But I thought, well, this goes on a bit too long, and it's more funny when you're reckless with your things.
My name is Tim Buckley. I'm a 24-year-old gamer.
Oh my god, that's so good. The voices and the
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing I made, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I asked H-Bum, like, oh, what are some like quotable things from the comic that I can incorporate into the music? Oh, and there's one that I didn't use where I sang the life dropped an epic husband, her vows that I did not.
Isn't there also a bit that you did where you quote the anti-gaming, this is bad for gamers, nothing short of offensive? Oh,
no. I didn't do that.
Sorry, Shannon, I linked the stream in the group chat. If you can see that. I'll link it again. It's okay. Yeah.
My bad.
Sorry about that.
There it is.
I didn't realize.
That's fine.
Oh no.
I'm not very good with Discord.
It's called Discord for a reason.
Yeah, like I sang her vows, and that was unused. It sounded. I was gonna put it like at the end when he's in the white void, but like then there was only one scene with the white void because the white void opened.
Had two. There were two. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was going to be for the second one, but then there was only one white void, so I just used the singular void theme that I had made.
Sorry, I'll be ready to be a better presenter when I'm done eating my breakfast / dinner.
A little bit of voice work.
I'm currently sleeping in like 2
I
5-hour
recorded
naps.
Sorry. That was like a temp one I had recorded, but I liked it. I ended up using it.
Yeah, I think like you basically said you should get someone to read these lines out, and then you recorded them as an example, and then I was like, we're just gonna use this.
I did like 2 or 3 takes, and I mashed them together and put a reverb on them, and I was like, it's amazing. Anyone's ever written.
Epic husband.
Rarest of its loot table.
And I was lucky enough to win the need roll.
I do think that that line, in terms of just like how horribly written it is up there with like, I've played every violent game in existence and I've never killed anyone. It's up there with what you did is bad for gamers, and
no,
it's
bad for games and bad for gamers.
That's it, yeah. And it's up there with Bin Laden has won in airports of the world every day. I had a little jar of honey. God, when my hair like grows out, I look like I'm actually going bald. It's awful. I hate it. I'm back on my very, very low effort diet of like just microwave some kidney beans and rice.
Fairly healthy though. That's not
That's okay.
low effort. Doesn't mean it's awful. I ate terribly. I made orange rolls today, and I ate 3 of them.
What even? I don't even know what an orange roll is.
Cinnamon rolls with orange icing, Pillsbury orange, orange whatever.
Wow, those look great. They're lovely.
Calories each. They're really good, but I shouldn't have eaten 3 of them.
How many calories?
I was thinking they're like 300 or 400. I didn't actually check. Made them before.
Wow.
It was like 4 in the morning, and when you open the tube, it makes a really loud popping noise. I was like, I hope I don't wake my family up because I want orange rolls.
That's what my to make my microwave work, it like beeps loudly. You have to set the microwave and then set the power and then set the time, and every step of the process it beeps multiple times. So I'm always like, will I wake someone up with this? And the answer is yes.
But another part of the video I really liked is unveiling the enormous lost print. That might be my favorite part.
Oh yeah, that's the part that had the most like musically. Your original version of the soundtrack, like it had the "Don't fuck with us" thing happened then, like you were whispering it, and then "Don't fuck with us," and then it cut directly to the reveal music that we have in this. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
in this one, it's got more of a build up.
I think it's worth it because because it's what I did was I tried to match the attempted pathos of loss with my music. I was like being sincere about it, because that's why people like movies that are so bad. They're good because they're sincere, no matter how bad they are. And I was projecting that with the music, and I think that's why it works.
I think that's the thing about like the connection for me between like the main one between CAD and The Room is there's this sudden burst of absolute sincerity that's completely tone deaf, really, and it meshes very well with sort of the story that The Room is trying to tell about, you know, this thing that happened. It's just utterly bizarre. Like I was online when it happened, and it was amazing. Like the reaction to it was it was like Tim Buckley had dropped a bomb. Like people were laughing, people were shocked that he would actually do that. Like the people had made fun of CAD, but that was like the thing. Like what? And then people were like who were fans of the comic were actively shocked that the story would go there. Like there were so many emotions regarding this thing, and I think that moment, like in terms of my internet experience, was so formative that I'm glad I got to explore it in video form.
And I mean, the theory I heard was that like he wanted to have a joke about Ethan's girlfriend being pregnant, but didn't want to have a kid in the story because that would be complicated.
Oh yeah, like you can see him trying to think of good like baby gamer jokes, like there's an early comic where Ethan has got this tiny Xbox 360 controller, and it's and then there's a sad comic a couple of like pages after Loss of him sadly putting this little controller in a drawer, and it's just like, what the fuck? And it, like, I don't know, it's upsetting. And I've seen a couple of like stuff where like Buckley like still makes comics, he still talks. He's a parent now, and for him now, like his experience of like raising a child while playing games a lot and talking about them for a living, like he now has jokes about that thing that he didn't at the time. And I'm curious what if he had the experience he had now, how he would write how he would write this period. You know, would this arc have still happened? I hope not.
I was about to say, hopefully not.
Yeah.
And I really like the line in the video, like a comic famous for saying hundreds of words about nothing has a page in which an entire trip through a hospital and a tragedy is said with 0 words. I made that the title of the track on the soundtrack. 4 panels and 0 words.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is there's this sudden like there's a joke. There are joke versions of Lost where they've added tons and tons and tons of words, and like that adds to its impact almost. Not just as a comic, but as a cultural event almost. That finally there were no words, and it was for like the worst possible thing it could be about. Like, I'm still a little bit like, did this happen? Did I imagine this? You know, it's like when people still are in shock that it turned out that one season of Dallas was all a dream. I'm still like, did I imagine the miscarriage arc in the gaming webcomic? Still.
If only.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to instill that reaction in people one day. Like,
yeah. Like, you want to go there, like, in a sense, not specifically here, but you want to quote-unquote go there. You want to impact people, but you want to do it in, like, a productive way, or to say something. And that's the shocking thing, is I don't think he knew what he was trying to do. He just, like, wrote it. It just, like, happened. Like, how did... It's still... I don't know. And I think that kind of says a lot. Like, rather than... I think the point I wanted to make with this really is that it's not really about Tim Buckley. Tim Buckley is a human person who doesn't understand some stuff and was pretty, like, I think maybe my age or possibly younger when he wrote this. Like, he was just a person growing up making a bad webcomic. But the things that he was wrong about and the ways that he was wrong are informative about the culture that he exists in. And that's, I think, the same thing as The Room. You know, it's a set of ideas about relationships and masculinity that Tommy Wiseau did not invent. So, whose fault is it really? It's yours. It's your fault. The Room is your fault. You made the bad movie. You're going to prison. I'm nearly done eating this, and then we can actually start. This is just the pre-stream.
But I do hope that becomes a trend. You know, like people commissioning composers to make scores for their video essays.
I certainly hope so as well. I enjoyed doing it, and I will do it more, I hope.
Oh, no. Adds a lot to it, I think.
It's cool.
Because I was very intimately involved with the script of this video, and I feel like I was able to accentuate it.
Yeah, like, you had a shocking amount of control over it that, like, kind of got to me at some points. Like, I was like, there's a bunch of whispering in the background of this bit, and this is when... Or a bunch of, like, voices, because he used some samples, and I was like, what if that pollutes the voiceover? What if it makes it hard to... And you just went like, I disagree that it's distracting. And I was like, oh shit, he's making the video as well. And that was kind of a shock. And the same thing with Shannon, like, same thing with the, like, Scanline video. There are just things that I'd have never have thought to have done. And I'm glad, because the video, minus the other 2 people on this call, would be a lot worse.
Yeah, it's
I'm just choking on some
collaboration. When you're collaborating with the right people. It's like...
Great humble brag right there.
Well, I mean, I've had collaboration experiences that were nightmares, is what I meant.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, when people make it so much worse and so much more difficult, and you just want it to be over, versus like, wow, we're building something really cool.
Harry never lost his vision, which is very important because there are some things where I did need to be directed on. Like the first draft of every track that you hear in the video was a whole lot more detailed and a whole lot more distracting.
This is definitely my first time working with like a musician whose experience is making something listenable first. When my goal is to make something that's like watchable in a wider way, and the skills that were required of you were probably a bit new, I think.
Yeah, like that's something that most composers are not even really asked to do. Like make something, like not just to go with these visuals and what's going on screen, but to serve as background noise and to be background noise for someone's voice that you need to hear, but also like accurately and satisfyingly fill up the space that is left.
Instead of being entertainment in of itself, it has to complement something else, and that's a very different skill.
And even a different skill from like just scoring a movie, which I also have not done, but
it would be very similar. Not to say that my work is film like, but as in you have to come up with a way of enhancing a scene that you might not even be watching. Like you might just have a script. Like a lot of composing is done prior to a film or without seeing the footage, and that's like got to be really hard. Like to a certain extent, that means the editor can then cut to the music, and the person who's writing the music is actually editing the film to a certain extent. Like in the greatest film of all time, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh my god.
The Duel of the Fates song, which is a Gaelic poem sung in Sanskrit, I believe was composed for the film prior to it being shot, but they knew what was happening in it. So it was like, I'm going to write the most epic clash there's ever been between these two forces. And then whoever the people who are editing the movie had to be like, okay, well, how do we make this work? And then like that whole fight is cut around that music track. Like if the music track had been like less epic, it would have been a different fight completely. Like
I think I think even the people who don't like the prequels, like think the action scenes are pretty nice.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, a lot of people do dispute even those. Some people are like, well, if you break it down, he is aiming to miss with that swing or something, or he's aiming to hit his sword. Like, yeah, of course, if you break it down, it's not a real fight. It's actually a choreographed fight for entertainment purposes. But like, yeah, I think most people agree that the fights are entertaining. I think that to be more true to the vision to be more true to what I think makes the prequels good, there should have been no music. It should have built up when everyone else was in the room with the Jedi, and the Jedi were like, we'll handle this, this is our thing, and everyone's like, ooh, that's important, and they'll run away. As soon as they leave, the music should stop, and the rest of the sound is just diegetic squeaking of the shoes as they run around the power room and fall over and fight, and it's just like no music. It's just three people trying to murder each other in a room like, because that's the whole thing. It's this like completely pointless fight that some guy has engineered to gain power in politics. Like, if anything, it should just cut to him doing paperwork in a room, and then like later it cuts back and one of them's dead. But
yeah, I haven't seen these movies in a long time.
That's how that's how what's his name, Gus Van Sant would have cut that movie. He would have just completely or what's his face, the guy who made Cachet,
Mikhail Haneke.
Mikhail Haneke, yeah. The film of his that I liked the most was The Piano Teacher.
Yeah, I saw that one recently. It's really good.
Yeah, what's the name of the lead actress in that? Michelle Huppert?
Isabelle Huppert.
Isabelle Huppert, yeah. She's in Heaven's Gate, and she's awful. Because she has to do the person who Michael Cimino basically said, I want Isabelle Huppert in my film no matter what. I don't care if she doesn't speak English and has to learn it for the part. I've picked her and everyone has to abide my whims. And like, it's such a shame because she's great. Like, she's genuinely really good.
The top review for The Piano Teacher on Letterboxd which is like IMDb meets Tumblr pretty much. But
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
the top review is, name a more iconic duo than Isabelle Huppert and acting. I'll wait.
It's those two boys in that movie that you like.
The boys, yes.
There's the two boys, the two golf boys in the gloves. What's the names?
No, actually, what's interesting is the golf club isn't theirs. Like, all the things that they use to murder the family, they find on the way. So the golf club is just incidental.
Oh, they just found it? Like, they didn't plan it out? They didn't come with a golf club? They just found it? That's great.
It's George's golf club.
Wow. The last time I think I saw that film was prior to Fellas's review of it. God, if there's one thing that I'm really happy about the death and destruction of that guy with the glasses criticism style, is it's the end of the time where you can watch a film and apart from for a few people, it's the end of the time where you can watch a film and pause it and say something nonsense and pretend it's criticism. Like, now Fellas has to think about the film. So I feel like if he reviewed the film now, it would come away very differently because the guy's pretty clever.
Yeah, like I feel bad now because now I realize that he was just a victim the whole time.
Yeah, like this is the thing, like with Lindsay Ellis. Like, at the time, I thought Lindsay stuff was like the best stuff on Tigwatig, and then like I grew up and stopped being online for a while and was like, that stuff was in retrospect pretty bad. Whatever, I've outgrown them. And then you come back to the internet and they weren't happy either with it and they quit and are now making actually really, really good stuff. Like, that was a fun when people grow with you, that's kind of fun. You kind of see that. No one's set in stone. But yeah, like, a lot of the creators on that site were just kind of spinning the wheels because they needed like the money, basically. And yeah, same thing with Fellas. Like, yeah, like I think he was basically forced into doing the effects for the movies.
Phelan's feelings are hurt is the most like subtly tragic sentence in that whole document.
Yeah, like
when they just get on his case for like half-assing it when he just didn't put in enough debris, and then like he's
the worst bit is bad. I believe one of the stories that was being told was that Doug was telling him that he loved it and it was great and it was perfect, and then he would tell other people, I think he's half-assing it. It's like, Fellas, he seems really nice in person. I really yeah.
I mean, the thing with funny games is that like I'm never mad if someone like doesn't like it, as long as they get what it's trying to do and like acknowledge that. And eventually he did.
It's the same thing with Film Brain, who used to produce the show Bed Movie Beat Dow, where like his reviews kind of ridiculed the concept of symbolism in a way that is a bit funny initially, and then you realize, this is like anti-art, and then and then you realize, actually he struck a chord with that one video he made, and it was his ticket to like have a show on the internet that people watched, and like at that point you're locked in. So like he's making better stuff now that he's his own thing doing like other stuff. It's just like, it sucks because like I wanted to spend my life going, look at this form of criticism, it doesn't work, it's bad, but they all agree with me. So like now I've got to think of something useful to say. Like so yeah. It turns out that I have peers who are good. No. Anyway, I should probably actually start this. I'm sorry, I've just been like rambling while I digest my food. Anyway, so yeah, we should talk about the original script, which I have somewhere. There we go. When this was originally written, my idea for the opening was it would open on like a... Oh, it goes in pretty well. Like a... Is this zoomed in enough for people to read? I don't know anymore. There we go. Open on a void. There we go. Did my internet just crash?
Oh.
No, good. Okay, we're still going. Yeah. Is that readable?
Yeah. I can read it.
Cool.
I'm looking at a delayed version of it, but I'm pretty sure it's readable.
Cool. I'm gonna ask the chat now. I'm checking the chat. I don't know how delayed the chat is. Oh no. Okay, cool. So in the original version, it's called episode 0, which is just because I thought like I was gonna call it episode theta, and then like I couldn't find the symbol for it easily, so I just was called road 0. But the original plan was we would begin on just white, and then music would fade in, and in my head it was like I had the specific idea of like just like this warbly, just like evil sounding noise, and the sound that it sounded like in my head was Aku's theme from Samurai Jack, this kind of like thing, and it would slowly and it would slowly pan on white, so you didn't know it was panning until Hareton Splimby's face was there, and he was just staring straight ahead, and then he would blink and kind of catch himself, and he'd look around, and he'd be in the white void that's there in the end, and see the switch, and originally there was a text above a switch that said, "Is the Control-Alt-Delete webcomic art?" I changed that at some point. And he would go, that's about comic, it's stupid, of course not. And he flips the switch to no. And then he leaves. And then we would slowly like zoom in on the switch and the sign that was above the switch. And then the sign would start to collapse. And like it would start to become less white. Like it was almost like the decision had corrupted this sacred place. And then it would cut. And then that's where the opening would actually begin. And that's where the opening starts in the video. And I shot that stuff like November last year with the intent of going back and shooting that other thing as the opening. In fact, I shot a version of the opening. And then I kind of realized way later than I should have done, if you open on that, you have spoiled that it's about the Control-Alt-Delete comic immediately. And that's the joke of this, is that it turns out to be about that. Like, so that was bad. Also, it turned out to be really hard to shoot. And also so it was bad. So it turning out to be hard to shoot and like not work too well was the reason I cut it completely. But initially I was like, oh, I'll change to a video games art, and then I'll give the justification that is the sort of alternative, like the counterpoint to the point I'm making, so I can then respond to that later. And then it just begins on the set there. And if I can find it, I'm now going to look through my After Effects documents and open all of my unfinished project files and hope that my dick isn't in any of them.
And that Samurai Jack noise that did a form of that manifested itself in the soundtrack, the very end, right, when he's in the white void. That pulse wave drone was made because of that.
Yeah, this is the thing I was thinking of. Like a version of this, like maybe like a more like windy version, like almost like it was like something is very sinister about this place was my like idea. Oh, my face has gone red because of the screen. There we go. So yeah, that was my original vision for this piece, but then I realized it was all bad.
But the Samurai Jack made it in, though. In a sense,
it did make it in. It did. Oh, my internet it crashed. I think it crashed.
I can still see it. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, I'll fix this. Yee baby, we're going. It's happening. We're back. I think we're back.
I can see it.
Okay, good.
I can see it.
That channel image is I'm gonna go out and like use the horse's head mask I have as a pillow and lie on the weird portable bed I have that's like slowly getting moldy in the garage and take pictures and just have that footage and pictures in case I need it. And then when I needed a channel image, I opened my pictures folder and it was there. And then I was like, I just quickly added, H-Bomb Productions, building relationships, building value.
It's amazing.
I just, because I've kind of co-opted Norman Rockwell as part of my channel aesthetic. I just used a painting of his as the banner.
I've committed a theft.
Yeah.
The umbrellas of Cherbourg.
My favorite comment on my I'm gonna find it right now. My favorite comment on the full upload of my album Punk. It came in recently. I'm gonna find the comment so I can fully credit this gentle person. Just a sec.
Okay. So this is
the comment was from Gomery, and he said, "Hey man, you just stole those vocals. Put them back. How dare you?"
That's great. So this is like a thing I didn't use in the end, but something I really wanted to have. And it's like the first thing I made because I was so like proud of the idea was I wanted at some point this slow zoom towards Jerry Hawkins' Wikipedia page and just highlight that the guy who wrote the thing I was making fun of was 41 years old at the time they wrote it. Like just this like, because like when Tim Buckley wrote his worst shit, he was like 22, 21 or like 17 or like what how old is he in that? I'm a 24-year-old gamer, is it? What is the line?
I am a 24-year-old gamer.
I'm a 24, like whatever. That's, that's still too old to be saying those things, but it's not 41. Like, that was kind of my first thought.
The guy in the mask, he lives a lot longer in the original script.
Yeah, he writes the whole thing. So yeah, this was my like initial test shot. So like there was this long pause in the void there was going to be, and then it would slowly pan over to just this sort of starey face, and then pan out, and then eventually he would like go oh, and then so I had him like comment on the switch that I was going to shoot later, and then this is just me like testing to see if I could composite green screen properly and all that stuff, and the thing I was kind of proud of with how I'd done it was I'd done it enough that like even the background would kind of reflect there, so it would kind of work. Like you don't normally want light bleed, but if you want the thing, but because it was a white void, it means that you can just like have a thing there, so that when you change this to white, it's like it's reflecting onto his face. And in the finished version, I kind of channel that even more, where like I have an adjustment layer that adds more like an internal glow. I ended up not bothering with that effect. In the final version, no, that's an awful effect. I hate that. I think this is the one. I think this is me coming through the painting. Oh yeah, here we are. Yeah, this is the other one. Oh no. Oh, yeah, basically in the final void stuff, I just added a bunch of weird, like, clean up green screen key filters that undid the damage of my poor lighting, and also made it look kind of slightly blurry in a way that achieved the same effect, so, yeah.
And also, for the record, I saw the raw footage of the final scene in the video. He's wearing shorts, guys.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing underpants. yeah, we're gonna, yeah.
And that was part of why I got so agitated at people constantly asking me about your dick. It's like, my friend's not gonna send me footage of him. Like, why do you think?
Yeah, like I would probably.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. Yeah, exactly. Like,
appropriate and strange.
It would be very inappropriate. I probably, if I'd been in the room on my own and not had someone in doing shooting for me, I probably might have done it.
But even then, you never know when you're gonna bring someone else onto the project. Like...
Exactly, yeah. You never know what point. You know, like I would never hire someone else to do this. This was, even though I was in underpants, this was an intimate project to create. So I'm gonna walk through how this effect was produced because I'm pretty proud of it. I'm not sure how the
a lot of
people were fooled. So, hello, did I break again?
Yeah.
Oh no, cool. Okay. Yeah.
Shannon might have.
Oh no, a lot of people want to know what she said. Oh no. So.
Dogs.
There you are.
Dogs.
Dogs.
What did you say?
Oh, a lot of people. Oh, just dogs came in. So yeah, like in the original shot, this is me. I was in my panties, and then I will try and find the footage of it before the stream is over. But the gel I'd covered myself in to achieve this look, as you know, liquid like conducts heat very well, like hair gel, for example, really good. And I'd covered it so completely, and it was cold there already, that it was freezing. And you lose almost all the heat in your body through your head. And by the time I was done with this shoot, my face was like red with like chills, like burns you get from being cold out in the cold too long. Because I lost all the heat in my face and head. So I went in the shower, and like even on like normal lukewarm water, it was burning. And there's a shot somewhere in like the footage I've got where I stand in front of the light and you can see the heat coming out of my head in like the mist that's happening. It's like shocking. Anyway, so I'm in my underwear, and then what I did was because I couldn't be bothered to like try and track it properly, I just drew a mask over it and then had it warp to like cover up any time that it was black. And where is the effects tab? There's an effects tab here normally. That's not it. Oh no. Effect controls, there we go. So, and then I have this mask was a color key, which just keys out all the black in that area. It even gets some of my regular bod and the comic, but I didn't care. And then it mosaics it. And for some reason, if you just put like a solid underneath, it doesn't display it, because Adobe After Effects is rubbish. So I pre-composed it and then put a dark solid with a kind of a ramp on it that resembled the flesh tones of the scene underneath, and that kind of adds the effect.
I mean, usually people just wear underwear that's like skin tone.
I could have done that. I really could have done that in retrospect. I wish I'd worn shorter. Like, funnily enough, a thing that I own is incredibly small underpants. Like I own, you know, the Harley Quinn underwear things that she wears in that movie, Suicide Squad. I own a pair of those for some reason. I bought them for a joke because I saw them in a shop, and I should have worn those. It would have been so easy to key out. It would have been less, like, there'd have been way less, like, half of these shots are rubbish because you can tell I must be wearing something, because why am I censoring, you know, just some regular honest butt, you know, that would be fine, that's legal. So it's clear that I've got pants on, and I could have fixed that. So that's my mistake.
Apparently it's not clear enough.
Oh yeah, some people were still convinced. I'm so sorry. I wanted to retweet you saying stop asking me about H-Farm Stick, but I just didn't. I knew that it would just make it worse, so I didn't.
If it had really upset me, I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have called attention to it.
Yeah. But I still also didn't want people to keep doing it. Still.
Oh man, I just reached 1,000 followers on Twitter. Didn't realize that.
So this was, you know, this shot was really hard to do because the lighting on my bod changes. Like here it's like dark, here it's bright, and here it's like something else. So I ended up just like I think what I ended up doing was I freeze framed just a random piece of... That's it. I freeze framed this shot of the video and just used this bit of skin and then like tweened it around when appropriate for different shades of skin. And then that's what's underneath. That's what is producing the color for the censorship effect. So it's actually like this. This is just like my own head and neck, and it like vaguely lines up, and like the blur sells it. Like this is just. I'm really proud of how this came out because it's so ramshackle.
I mean that's art.
Yeah. Now I need to find, if I can, the most goodestest shot. Oh, it's not this one. I don't even remember why. I did a tween that was annoying to do outside of After Effects. Oh yeah, this is the void thing.
Did you ever use that like one glitch sound effect? I already forgot what that even sounded like. I made it very. I mean, I spent like 2 hours making that, but like I don't even remember what it sounds like.
I think I used all of them, and then I also reversed them and moved their speed around quite often. This shot, by the way, this is just me in a mask. I liked this shot where he turns into the stuff. And it's very clear. It's really clear, like what we actually did here was, if I delete the masks, it's me and my pal Instant Grat.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, and there's Simon off to the other side, dropping the coat, and there's me dropping the mask, and then we just mask them in. So then it just cuts, and like you can kind of see that I've composited out the shot, the sides of us that are there holding it. So I just mask it with the background. It's a really simple effect to do, but I was really happy
get yourself a friend like that.
Yeah.
Everyone watching this right now.
Yeah. Instant Grat is thanked in the credits specifically because he did a lot of really, really tough work on this proj. Oh yeah, this is the thing that that is weird. That's an effect. That's a problem I haven't seen before. Oh, have I forgotten to... Have I not licensed this program? Oh yeah, After Effects Pixel Sorter. I haven't put in my purchase code for this effect.
Oh.
On this machine yet. I've reinstalled a bunch of programs since I did this. Pixel Sorter is a cool After Effects plugin you can buy, which does the pixel thing I was doing. Because originally I was going to have to do it like... with a by manually filtering all of the doing basically manually filtering a JPEG and then processing all the frames with a program actually called processing. But I was like, oh, you just buy a thing. So
I did make something with the Sonic end level music that you decided not to use, and instead went for a song I'd already made that uses the Sonic end level music.
Yeah, because I like that so much. I was like, we should just put that in. Some people have noticed that I did deliberately frame this to be a little bit like Loss. I could have worked a little bit harder to frame it better to be more like the page, the panel of the comic, but I was winging it. You know, this is me filming 3 shots of me, and then like composing them over each other. Where's the other one? Yeah, here we are. There's also this guy, wherever he is. There we go. Like, so like I had to like do a lot of pasting around this guy because like this isn't. I had to like focus on me in the foreground, so everything in his shot was out of focus. So it was really, you had to cut around him. Like, and it's not. It's pretty obvious. It's a mask, but it's fine. Whatever. Oh no, I'm looking for
the decision to have me voice the masked dude was a last minute one.
It was, yeah. I was like, I can't do this. This is like, if this is all me, this becomes just nonsense. Okay, this
that would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, this is... Oh, yeah, because of how this compositing thing works, all the footage of me preparing for this shoot is also in this composition with the happy end footage. So yeah, here's a shot of me talking to Instagram as I just rub. Okay, so my original plan for this was I was going to buy the powder that you use to make lube. You can just, like, buy it and then, like, water it down or add whatever chemical you want, and then, bam, you've got an instant viscous goop. That's the way pros do it. And I was going to do that, but then I was in Boots, and they were closing that Boots store, and they were selling all of the hair gel that they had for, like, 50 pence. So I bought all of it, and took it home, and rubbed it all on myself for this one shot. And you can tell I'm having a really great time, and it's absolutely freezing.
Oh my goodness. You suffered for your art.
Yeah, I created art for this. I think it's around here. You can just see the steam rising from my head. Also, to get those holes, I, like, cut holes in the board with an axe, so there's me in my underpants, like, hitting the thing with an axe to try and get it open. No, I'm in my gown at this point when I'm hitting it, yeah. So, like, I realize I can't actually tear it because it's a full canvas. So I'm just, like, hitting it with an axe. And later on, like, to create more of the cuts as I tear through it, I have to do it again. So I'm, like, just greasily holding this and, like, swinging it while like, in my underpants.
Oh, this behind the scenes video needs to get made.
Yeah, I've got all the footage open. And
oh, that's better. That's more like it. Take that, Doctor.
I'm trying really hard not to break it too much.
My foot.
Why did I do that?
Just watching this.
This should have come up like a second right after the credits. There should have been like 5 seconds of you fumbling with an axe covered in hair gel.
I really should have done. There's a great shot I made and then forgot to use of the this, like, the torn open picture torn open just on a green screen, so I could have the text for the credits flying through it. And then I shot it just falling down on its own. So we're just going to have the last thing be it just falls down and hits the floor and makes a noise. So I'm sure it's around here somewhere where I'm stood in front of the light. And so, you know, the light kind of highlights the way the way air currents are in the room. It's probably around here. So you can see right here this coming off of me. This gas, this is just heat, just dissipating constantly. It's just
God.
It's horrific. Also, there's the power went out. Like, there were so many lights on at once, and I had a radiator on to try and keep me warm, but then it tripped the power, so we didn't do that anymore.
It's just the resolve. Not just to buy an enormous print of Lost, but then to, like, destroy it as part of the scene. I think that's what people are really reacting to in the comments section. It is incredible what you did here.
Thank you. It's very nice of you. Aww. And now I'm looking for the actual, you know, the money shot. I'm looking for the one of me going, you know, yes. And I can't find it. So I'm gonna keep looking. I think this is CAD 85. I must have done this right. Like, I must have known this was the shot I had to nail, so I just opened it right at the beginning of, like, the editing process, the effects process. Oh no, this is all this stuff. So where is? Oh, this was a fun choice as well. I just, like, there was no one there for half of these shots, so I just filmed.
Do you have that other version of the ending music that I proposed
with the
black metal drums?
I don't know where that is. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have to find it again. I think I lost it.
There was this is another thing in the script that's like majorly different. Is there were a lot more direct arguments between Heriton and the killer unmasked and was another Heriton, so it's clearly an argument with himself. I have a couple of people who are like, "You portrayed your critics as axe murderers," sort of accusations, when actually like the character is meant to be sort of an embodiment of both. I think poor criticisms of art, but also of my own sort of internal beliefs about how to look at art. Like, to a certain extent, there is always that side of me saying, this is ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't analyze things this way. Like, there's always a part of me that's like, this, you have to recognize the inherent silliness of it. I think that's kind of what I'm channeling into serious lore analysis. Like, I want to have my cake and eat it. I want to go, Sonic is about, eco-terrorism, and it's a bit silly to say that about Sonic. I want both.
But what I see in serious lore analysis is you're making that brand of art analysis like fun, because like that's kind of seen as being stuffy English teacher like, but you're making it funny and cool.
Yeah, that's my hope. I want to
do that.
It's like I reverberate between like, this is funny, isn't it silly to do this, and the analysis, and then eventually arrive at the synthesis of, isn't it fun to do this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I want to do that with my video about Robots, the movie.
Oh yeah, like I can't wait for that.
Like, have people wonder, is he joking or is he not? And the answer is that I'm never joking ever.
Yeah, that's cool. So there were a lot more discussions that are just like where Heriton and the killer argue about how to interpret art, whether or not the room is valuable to talk about in any way. There was a shot that I wish was workable in the video, where it would cut to the killer going like, "How dare you can't, did you see the spoons? Did you see the spoon?" And then it just cuts, but like, I'd already killed them at this point in this version of the story. And there was a lot more me arguing with me in the woods. And I was like, this is actually a little bit boring, and also I don't want to film it because it's cold and it's wet and it's dark. Or it's too bright to film and I have to shoot day for night, and the day for night didn't look that great. So I just kind of gave up and thought, well, what if instead I made it a bit less preachy and just said the things and then worked a new narrative together out of that. And that kind of happened by necessity, but also by the case of me actually, having to actually shoot it with someone made me think a little bit harder about what I'd written. Is a part of it as well. So in this version, at the end, like, Heriton hits the killer, like knocks him down, and goes, "I'm gonna fix what I did. I made the wrong choice in the past all those years ago when I decided CAD wasn't art." And he, while he walks back, and the killer is also injured and is chasing them. And then at the end, in the void, the killer is there, trying to catch up with them and stop him before he flips the switch. And I was gonna like shoot the angles of it so that the killer like swung the axe at their head as they were flipping the switch, and like the impacts like happen instantly, and then it would cut to the comic panel on the floor and the axe would come through, like there'd be a match cut. But that turned out to be like 20 times harder to film. So I was like, what if it's just one person? And I think the impact is the same. And I think
also having Heriton like sort of shamble back to the room he's in was a lot more emotionally resonant with the music I made for that, I think.
Yeah, the initial music you'd made for that, for him like running back, was the music that ended up in the bit when we talk about Penny Arcade, and I think that works really well there. The like that was originally playing over the like trip back, and it was just going to be like 5, or maybe not 5, but like several full minutes of just walking while this music played, and I was like, this doesn't work. So I'm glad we fixed it.
I don't remember that being the pitch.
Oh, well, in my head, the music of him like walking back would play, and it would just be like this like slow chase between two versions of me through the woods and to my house, and it worked in my head as this like, wouldn't it be arty if I had this protracted thing? And then having to actually shoot it with a person there is like, actually, now there's one other person here, and the person shooting it is now theoretically an audience member because they're watching it as it's made. I now have to justify it to myself that I wrote this. I think the finished version is good. I like that when he goes back into the room and it's a skeleton, because I like the idea that the story is like diverged, where there's Heriton in the room talking, and then it cuts to this other place where the opening sequence happened, whatever weird place where that happens that isn't canon with the rest of the world. All of this has happened, and eventually one meets up with the other again, and they're a skeleton. I just thought that was like meaningful in some way, but I don't know what the way was.
Yeah, I tried to. I knew that the skeleton was significant in some way, so I tried to give it like weight in the music.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't actually explain the skeleton to me, and now I know that you can explain it to yourself.
Yeah. I can't reason why it's there, but I know that it's good that it's there. I know that it was important. It was an important decision. He's the key to all of this. If we can just get the skeleton working. He's a funnier character than
we've seen before.
I'm looking so hard for this bit. But it's the bit. I made a whole bunch of separate, because I've had After Effects crash and then corrupt the file and then also delete the autosaves. Or just turn off autosaving for no reason. And you never want that to ever happen again once it's happened once. So instead you make 10 different After Effects folders for your giant nightmare composition. But that presents its own new problem of you don't know where any of the files are. Or what any of the stuff is. Which some would consider a problem. I'm looking through I'm going to just open the original. I'm just going to open the Premiere file and we'll go from there. Yeah, so there was a lot more arguing. There was a lot more. Let's discuss what's happening in the cuts that Shannon made, and then it just ended up feeling needless. So I'm really happy with what we ended up with, and I like the impression we get of we basically the episode restarts twice over, just going to, hey, here's another episode of Serious Lore Analysis from within the episode that's about the room, and then here's one about, and then they all tie together. I enjoy that more than I enjoy the way I tried to justify doing that in the first place.
And also, this was going to be the April Fool's joke, but took too long to finish.
Yeah, that's right.
So he made it, I was actually in the conversation where he came up with the idea for the why Skyrim sucks.
Yeah.
He came up with that the night before that video went up.
Yeah, basically.
I'm glad you did, because that brought a whole bunch of traffic to my website, to my Bandcamp. So even though your fans are all angry, I'm loving it.
Oh. Yeah. So my it was a good April Fool's joke. I stand by it. It's better than the
good.
other one.
It's good because it's the patron's fault for giving you the ammo to make this joke.
Yeah, I can get away with this now. So this shot is pretty good. You can see it was originally lit very poorly. I think we might have accidentally had an ND filter on because we turned it on and then the lights broke, and we turned on the the lights in the room. So it was bad, but okay. Wait, it was in here all along? Oh, you're kidding. You're kidding. It's just not on the list of things. Oh no. I'm incompetent. What's happening? I just couldn't find this comp because I wanted to talk about this effect here. Because this is the one that's I'm most proud of, because it's you can see my entire... It looks the most real, and this is because it's a still the camera doesn't move very often, so I could patch composite my ass. Basically, okay, this is the shot, right? I'm carefully motion tracked the movement of the camera because the camera pans, tilts, and zooms from a roughly even position. So I could, which means I can create a 3D camera track of the entire scene, which I did. So I chose a still frame at a good moment, brought it into Photoshop, used leg and chest skin to recreate this, to build this, and just pasted a bunch of shit over it, and masked it. Hold on, no, masked it to the general shape of my body.
Oh, that's so weird.
And then I put this on.
That's body
Basically
horror.
recoiling from my computer.
And the worst bit is it makes my ass look like it's made of hair. It's awful. It's the fucking worst thing I've ever done in my life. And then
ass shit right here, Harry.
And then I blur over a little bit of it. And then motion track it to the 3D camera shot of the body, so it just moves like it's real, and then put it over the thing, and it just goes, and it looks like I have to like finagle it a lot. Like I have to mask around my arm because my arm moves in front of the pants.
You had to finagle your bagel.
I had to finagle my bagels, and it's so beautiful. It's like it. I'm so happy with this, and I made my ass look so hairy that I've had comments like no one has said what does H-Bomb's dick look like. They just send those to Shannon, but they tell me it's that my ass looks really hairy. And it's just, oh god. And I did that to myself. I could have used some of this meat, some of this skin, some of this. I could have put nipples on it, but no, and it's just, I'm sorry, I realized I just subjected you all to this, and this wasn't, maybe this is
It
not
looks
safe.
really good.
I didn't consent to this, let me just say.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sorry. What I've done might have just been illegal in some parts of the UK, but I'm very happy with it. And like I was so happy when it realized that it was going to work, that the motion track I did of like my eyes or something, like whatever. No, it was my eyes. It was I think it was like some part of the background that stays in the entire shot, so I could just go and go and go. I realized it was going to work, and I was like, oh my god, it's real 3D motion track composite thing.
My face hurts.
I was so happy.
Cronenberg ass. I
opened the version of After Effects where I paid for the program. I have two versions of After Effects on my computer because I'm a big piece of shit. So if I'd known this, the music I would have made for this scene would have been so much more disturbing. I just loved the way when I first heard that song. I was like, oh, I hope it pitches down. And then it did. I was like, this is great. I want this person doing music for my videos, and also I want this track in the video. You can't even make an ending. I want that one. I just love that. And like that tilt sells it as well. Like without that rotate, it's just like that's not the wrong thing. I deleted the wrong pixels. Oh well. Whatever. So yeah, the way pre-composition works is you move all the stuff in and then freeze frame it later. So like it's just an entire like 28-minute composition that's paused on one specific frame somewhere. The words, because I wanted to compose the words happy ends over it so that the words happy end would melt with the rest of the scene, because otherwise they'd just be imposed on top and I'd have to paste the effect and it wouldn't look right.
And you didn't put the name of the ending song in the description, so now I have to deal with people asking me like, oh, where's the credits song, dude?
I should have done that. So there was a time where I had to quickly check my folders to make sure it wasn't on display, where I briefly just considered the route of taking pictures of my ass and then like compositing it, actually like doing basically in post making myself nude and then censoring it, like effectively creating lewds. And then I was like, this is too much, and I deleted the images, but I wasn't sure if I deleted them, so I had to check just to make sure. And yeah, so to make the happy end thing blur with the rest of the footage, I had to create a new version of the footage with that pasted over all of it. So there's just happy end written over all the stuff of us filming this, You can tell I'm like really not happy about the thing I'm about to film.
Your expression is really funny.
You can tell I'm just like making work for myself to not have to do it. Like, okay, if I keep coming up with stuff, I don't have to do it.
I did give Harry specifically an instrumental version of the song if you do go to hear it on the album. I do sing on that. And the lyrics are good, but like you'd have to cut me off, I guess.
Yeah, I thought, oh, maybe the vocals will come in and then they'll cut away because the credits are going to be pretty short. So I also had to do this color correction because look at that lighting, that's awful. You know, I had to fix that in post. I fixed the skin tones, made all the skin, made the skin good. Fix the skin. It's the thing, you know, it's what you do. You fix the skin.
How many times are you going to say the word skin?
The flesh, the meat. The meat. I mean, look how like I shot this in a vlog profile on a GH4 like 2 years ago now. Like this is 2016 footage that I shot.
Incredible that you did that too.
That I knew I would use it for this. Like I had this in my head. So that's how it looked, and you can tell my correction skills have gotten way better because the Sonic footage looked kind of bad in retrospect. And that is like kind of how it looks, and it's just a bunch of like really simple tricks. I might have just hit the auto button actually. Yeah, I basically did. I think I basically did that and then made some adjustments. So like I'm pretty happy with my color correction job. What else? Oh, because I had to like match because this is a separate camera shot. Where is it? This shot is different, like for a different camera, so like the color is all different. So I had to like fix that, and this had to be fixed. It's previewing a little bit of my gasping, sweltering noises whenever I move to a different part of the timeline, and it's like slightly putting me off.
I need to turn the sound on to hear this.
Another thing is this. I reused this audio of the goop. This gooping sound of me coming through the painting is okay. This is awful. There is the footage of me doing this, which I will put in the behind the scenes. While I was putting the stuff on, I realized that if I moved my armpit a certain way, it would make a horrible, horrible sound. And I made Instant Grat come really close with the microphone to my armpit and film it. So there's like a full 10 seconds of me making this horrible noise and just grinning at him and staring. Like I made eye contact with him the whole time. So you can actually tell if I keep the footage going, he just says gross. Like, hold on.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, got it. Cool. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He just says, "Oh, that's bad."
Oh, he does. I just turned the volume on.
There is a cut of this that I gave to people when I was like asking for notes, where I left it in, and you can just hear him say, "Oh, that's bad" under this footage. And I thought I might leave that in, but I decided not to at the last second. Other stuff in like this was all one big After Effects composition I made, and I cut them all together, but I accidentally left weird frames in, so I have to recut it a bit, and like all of this, the correction is awful. Like I just put fake blood on and it didn't look too good, so I tried to make it more red in post and it looked kind of garish, but I was okay with it. I know, Shannon, you didn't like how like I originally had an even more zoomed in version of this shot and it made it super blurry because I was slightly out of focus, so I just shot a really close up thing much later that looks way better and less bad. This is the process in action. I'm really happy with this cut though. Just this, the way it leads into the switch. Just this bit. I love you. Like that was inspired. Something that's really annoys me about After Effects, or about Premiere right now rather, is when you scroll through the timeline. Whenever you scroll, you can't do any commands for like a second, and that second is so unproductive feeling that it hurts. Like I
had that problem with 2018, but not with 2017.
Sorry?
I don't have that problem anymore. When I was working on the Uncanny Valley video, it kept doing that, so I switched back to 2017, and I would
change back to the other version, but like This is 2017. This is the latest 2017, and 2018 has it too. So I might find an even older version to go back to. But I do like the new text thing where you can just type text in.
I know we were talking.
Although they moved the center text option to like a super obscure place that I had to look up to find it.
That's awful. So my current thing is like you hit D to delete a thing. I think D is originally something else, and I changed it. Because I'm clever. But now if I scroll through timeline, doesn't do anything. If I want to hit play, doesn't. If I want to select and delete something, doesn't. Awful. I hate it. I hate it so much. That second, just like all that lost productivity. I'm like Monty God, Monty is like, his whole thing was he was like so productive, and he knew all the keyboard shortcuts. Like he knew exactly how to crab claw his hands to like immediately open the brightness and contrast functions on Photoshop. And like at the time I was like, he's a genius, he knows all the commands, he's so quick, he's so efficient. And now in retrospect it's like, you could just like bind brightness and contrast to one button if you want. Like, and he was like sticking to ancient versions of Photoshop so that all the commands were the same. It's like, you can just change them, like in retrospect.
Power.
Yeah. You can just change the commands. God. Shannon, do you want to talk about some of the stuff you did for this?
Anything in particular?
Well, what was it like being basically told to like do all of the bits for the project when I was like, because like originally I was going to do all of this, and then I realized that the shooting was going to be a ton of pain, and then I was like, well, I guess Shannon's going to have to do half of this for me.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh.
It's a really different feel versus editing my own stuff. Cutting down my own voiceover and doing voiceover. So I just got to do the fun part of it.
Yeah, you didn't have to write or record, which is definitely the worst part. It's the most self-conscious part.
The controller bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With that.
That was excellent.
Because you just said, like, get a controller and hit buttons on it.
Yeah.
So I made my little brother bring me an old controller we have that has, like, weird stuff, like stickers on it and stuff that's, like, 20 years old. I used my phone to record me slamming.
Yeah.
For the longest time, the gunshot noises that it made there were way louder, and I definitely like that more.
Did you? Oh, yeah. That's my fault. I made them quieter.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's so important they hear my voice without anything quiet too loud.
I like that it was drowning you out a bit.
Ah, I should have kept it in then. I'm the same with the music, where the music is probably a bit too quiet. I think I prefer that take where it falls off, but
I didn't have the impression that the music is too quiet. Sometimes
good.
Sometimes I do actually. Like in the Soy Boy video when you used Cicada 2, like it just sounds like you left your air conditioner on or something. Like it's so quiet.
Oh yeah, I'm always so worried. I think one time I made a video where the background music was too loud, and like one person was rude to me, so it's just stuck in my brain now, so I just make it way too quiet.
But the thing is, like, in my music, I love using ambient music in my videos because I can have it louder without it overpowering my voice.
Yeah, and you use a lot of pauses in your work where you just have the sound go to, elaborate on something, and that's really cool. Like, that's something that, spoilers for Shannon's video, like, the opening doesn't even need narration, it's just, like, 7 minutes of sound and clips of things to make the point. It's incredible.
The next parasocial video.
Yeah, I couldn't make something that good without like yelling over it to make my point. Like, it's really well done.
A lot of really varied clips of other people talking, and I will pull, even if it's low quality footage or if it's something kind of strange, or collage work of just taking stuff from say something and then I'll cut back.
It's a bit like Crobcat on YouTube, who just offers no narration of their own. They just cut together footage to create irony and or prove the person's point. They're pretty good.
Much for me. I don't want to be doing articulate something too. Although that is a really cool talent to be able to make a point with just other footage. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I put together in here. Lisa animation.
Oh yeah, the Lisa animation was incredible.
Marble.
Patrick Suderland with Sir Radigan's face on him.
Yeah, those two things in
did
really
that?
quick
I put
succession
in
were
Radigan
excellent.
laughing.
Yeah.
I was trying to fit in Radigan music, and it just didn't work anywhere, so I got rid of it.
I mean, yeah, that would have been a terrible idea. Because I want to talk a bit about like how I decided on the sound for this, because I decided after reading the scripts what this album was going to sound like, what the soundtrack was going to sound like. And I decided on like taking like geeky music and making it sort of scary.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. Sorry, carry on.
And I settled on like combining chiptune and early swing, like early jazz music, because that is extremely geeky. And I was gonna mix in like metal as well, like sampling metal music, but I couldn't really find any way to do that. So half the songs on The Killer, which is the name of the soundtrack album, sample like early jazz on them at some place.
Yeah. You created horror nerd. I just noticed that there's a 7% opacity shot of the Ratigan song. I didn't even notice that.
That was.
You just slipped
I was
that
wondering
in.
if people would
I didn't
notice.
even see it. That's incredible.
Enough movement here. You need to put something here, Shannon. And I was like, okay.
It just faded. Like I didn't even see that. I just was like the finale adds to it on its own, and then there's more. And I can see it now. I can see his eyes right there. But I have
you can
not...
see Radigan's eyes.
That's so good, and it builds up to something because that actually was there. It was real. It was just there. Oh, that shot. And that
Behind Tim Buckley, or behind Ethan, excuse me.
And before we go too far away from this,
yeah,
like that's something I want to experiment with more. Like if like some game you work on in the future could like be open source, so you could let me sample things without you getting sued.
Oh yeah, you can't use samples on the game project you're doing music for because
yeah. So Please Hold isn't going to have any samples, but like I'm wondering like what could be done if I could just sample whatever I liked, like because the use of samples in soundtracks is like completely underexplored, like just entirely.
How do you do this? Is there like a mask, or did you crop? Oh wow, you just cropped.
I ended up doing.
Wow, that's really cool how you did that. You had to manually crop the bottom every. That's like really clever.
Well, I mean, it took a lot longer than it needed to, but it also looks funnier.
Yeah,
because she looks ridiculous. Her movement is very strange, rather than just being like a clean.
Instead of like a tween in, like it's just kind of yeah. That's really well done. Like I would have had another thing, and I've had to try and get a mask work, and then after like 30 minutes, had given up and not put it in the video, and you like made it into the crop. That's really cool.
God, as I animated her,
she just comes up manually. It's great. It's
got Lisa outside of EA, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something weirder than that.
Yeah, my notes were just like, oh, I should have kept the notes instead of deleting them every time. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I was just like, put Lisa outside EA's headquarters or something, and then you just made the most amazing piece of the video. Just like this, like.
I don't know. Stuff like that in Premiere. I don't know if you're supposed to, but it's like I want to pre-comp it, and you can't really pre-comp in Premiere, so I just nest it, and then
yeah, you would have to paste all the stuff, and then you'd have to have After Effects projects going and send them to me. It would just have been a huge pain. So I'm really glad that you work really well in Premiere. I'm an After Effects boy, and it's a huge pain for anyone who ever wants to work with me on something. Oh god,
I like incorporating a lot of different visuals and different sounds and stuff. So like of throwing in subtle samples of different music. I like to layer a lot of different, like the beginning of the room segment, there's an overlay of the dog's face that I don't know if everyone caught. I don't know how what opacity I put it at.
I was about to say yeah and pretend that I'd noticed.
The music playing during the room was directly inspired by that part of it.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's the dog's face. That's the dog's face. How did I not? Oh my god. It's the dog. It was the dog this whole time and I didn't notice.
Stuff like that. You're saying the music was inspired? Was it like the room soundtrack?
Like, no, it was inspired by like what he had to say about the room. I wanted it to sound like you're like analyzing someone else's dying relationship from very far away. Like that's the feeling I was trying to evoke with the music that plays during that part. So I did take to this project a lot like I would like a movie, which I think more people should like. I want this to be the start of a new trend of people hiring composers to make music for their video essays.
Yeah.
And like ContraPoints kind of does it. Like she has a dedicated composer, but and her videos are better for it, but I don't think the composer makes music for her videos.
Yeah, I think she just suddenly kind of gets some music off of her, but I think they kind of do work pretty close. I'm not entirely sure. I like Zoe Blaze music, but I can't use it in a video because I feel like it's like treading on someone else's cohort almost.
Territory.
Yeah, you've effectively put Wazo's face on the dog, and like that's kind of amazing. I didn't even know like this is subtle stuff I didn't really get. I like didn't see until I like just panned the image out now. Like it's I don't even understand how good this video is. Half the stuff in it missed me.
I think of other weird little stuff I did.
Yeah.
Without asking you. Put it in.
You've gone rogue.
Know if you
I didn't hide anything weird in case you're wondering. I didn't like.
There were no samples used from like racist propaganda films.
I sampled early jazz music. I sampled Frank Sinatra in my favorite track on the album, Cowardice.
Oh.
For Major League Video Essayists, which is my second favorite. I sampled an early recording of The Roadside Fire composed by Vaughan Williams. And that track is great because I aimed to make like a parody of the music that like pretentious video essayists use. And I believe you did actually call me a genius after I showed you that one.
I did really like it. I was really proud of the idea to add a vocoder or a flanger to me saying gaming webcomic. Gaming webcomic. Except it's just this little stupid thing.
I don't think I like that one as much as just leaving it plain.
Really?
I like the flanger effect as an idea. Like if anyone here watches up and coming leftist YouTuber called Thought Slime, whenever he says the market, he puts this really extreme phaser on his voice, and it's hilarious.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. There's a there's a great trick that Friendly Geordies, an Australian left-wing YouTuber, does, where he kind of puts this weird noise on his voice whenever he's kind of like stating something that's a fact. That just makes it incredibly silly. While because basically when the thing he's saying is like too bleak to really make a joke out of, he just puts a weird effect over the sound.
Works.
Yeah. So it's like, when they support this policy, mathematically they've said, 0.9 million Australians should die. Like, he just puts a thing over it. Like, it's great. Also, something that I'm not sure how subtle it is. It probably isn't. But the last lines in the video that I say before I flip the switch are quotes from this end bit, like this last comic where he talks to Lila.
Yes, I caught that. I love it.
With the exception of Lila, it's video games.
Video
Oh, that was great.
Video, I love you. I loved doing that. I have always wanted to, in some form, recreate the ending of CAD in a video. So I'm so happy I got to do that.
And the other thing that it's a very modern editing trick that everyone does now, but like interrupting yourself by editing it, like cutting yourself off. I'm never gonna get tired of that. Like who started that? Was it Ego Raptor with his like
from Mike's to Class's Plinkett reviews?
It was the Plinkett reviews, really. Yeah.
Okay.
Vinet.
You had the idea for the... Sorry.
Borrowed a lot from the because I used to watch his sequelitis stuff, and they were very heavily Plinkett inspired.
Yeah, the Plinkett reviews have a lot of really good stuff in them.
What? You mean like an element of a game isn't there specifically for me to have fun? What is this?
Yeah. What? You have to wait for the chest to open? My time is so important, me, video game YouTuber.
I have to wait for this boat to show up.
So, I realize that the cut I made on the Switch is like just really exacerbating the thing you already did that probably gave me the idea of like the cut there. I think I prefer it with the harsh cut, but that was a hard decision to make because I liked both. Another thing I considered doing was moving the Switch sound effect over by like 1 or like 2, so it was like you could hear the click as it transitioned, but I decided not to. Shannon, sometimes you cut out.
Why are you whispering?
I don't know.
I'm not talking. I don't know if
like, sometimes you cut out when you talk, and I'm just curious. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's internet culture.
Is that the internet, or is that?
It's
right
internet
now
culture,
or in my videos.
Not knowing whether someone is cut out or have just stopped talking.
Right now, on Discord, yeah. I can't tell if it's cut out because my internet's bad, or yours is messing up, or push to talk, or
I don't have push to talk on.
Cool. Okay.
Wondering whether, like, you just lost connection to everyone, or your joke was just really not funny.
Yeah.
And you have to like ask.
Yeah. On Skype, there's always a low level when you're connected to someone. So with Discord, there isn't. So whenever there's a dead silence, I'm like, my internet's broken. I keep asking hello when everyone's here. It's awful. It's embarrassing.
I understand.
Anything to say? Or my internet is really terrible, so it could be cutting out. But it usually can handle just like an audio.
Like just then, it was like, can usually handle like an audio blank space for a few seconds.
Well, I'll play with it later and see.
Okay.
I don't really know how to fix it. But let me know if I say anything important, because I can't tell when I go out.
Yeah, I'll ask. Sorry, I just wanted to mention it. This scene change thing that I use for this bit, just at the end, is an incredibly slow, and I think also reversed version of a thing.
Yes.
Of a sound effect that you use.
Because I decided I liked it. I liked this ending scene silent. Like, I was gonna make music for it that was very disturbing and gross, but then like I liked how awkward it was.
Yeah.
But then you were like, oh wait, I can just take this one sound effect that he sent me and reverse it and slow it down, and it's better.
Yeah, the build, having something to build with Heroton before it cuts was way better than it being completely quiet. God, it used to be so pretty.
And I do want to say, like, this was a very nice experience making music for this thing. I loved it. Like, you haven't driven me away at all.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's my number one fear, is that I drive people away. So
yeah,
it's
and
cool.
and I do hope to work more.
Me too. I like that a lot. Something that I like. My original draft of the script, like last year, because I had the DVDs and I'd listened to all the commentary tracks of Tim Buckley justifying his show. I leaned a lot more hard into making fun of him specifically and his commentary tracks. I think it was worse for it. But there was a couple of funny jokes in there that I think I wanted to keep. I'm sad to have lost, which I think is just where he'd say, like, I think the thing I'm best at is adapting Star Wars or something. He basically like just said words to the effect of, I'm only ever good when I'm making the thing into the thing. And I think
funny. You should have included like at least a little bit of the commentary track, like after saying the commentary track, which this inexplicably has.
Yeah, that's my fault. I could have put that in and decided not to. I have them as well on my, like, in the folder of all the files, I have the rips of the whole show with, like, both audio tracks, so I can just put it on. But I just couldn't find the one thing that was perfect, that was like, this is the best bit to like have to show off. There was always like multiple things, and I didn't want to make it much longer. I should have worked harder on that, really. I'm using a clip from the commentary for the next thing I'm talking about, where like I heap praise on this kind of average movie, and at the end I'm like, it's not perfect, and even the commentary track says it. And I have a track of someone saying, we shot on like 40 locations to this movie, it was terrible. But the thing that was really interesting with the commentary track is each one he makes, the track is, yeah, this didn't work out how I wanted, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. No, that's not it. That's the opposite. What he says is, this was great, it was a pleasure to work on, I'm so happy with it, it came out great, the actors are great. You know, he'll say it's great and funny. And then the next video he'll say, okay, due to the extremely negative reaction of the last episode, which was bad, we decided to... And then, like... So each track is him saying this one was the good one. And then the next track is, okay, the last... You know, it just kept going. Until, like, one of the last episodes of Season 1 has no... characters or words in it. It's just like random Battlefield 2142 jokes, which like no one played that game, so it's like this entire missed episode. It's just bad. And even in that one he's like, oh, we really messed up, like. And like I wanted to tell the narrative of watching all the commentary tracks through, and there just wasn't enough room. So I was like, well, if I just put some commentary in, it'd be like a missed opportunity. So I didn't. I should have put some in. It was my fault. You've both suggested I should put some in at some point.
But that's sort of how you know they're being honest if they do say at least one bad thing about their own. Like that's like when you see that talk that Jonathan Blow gave about Braid, and he's like, you know, this canon here, I hate this canon. It's not what the game's about. But also, this part where you have to wait 2 hours to get a collectible that doesn't even like do anything
that is what the game's
totally
about.
Fine.
Yeah, that is what the game's
that
about.
that is what the game's about, and I love him for it. I love that man.
Yeah, I think the worst thing about that canon is I think the canon is what the game's about. You know, it's there to kill you, so you have to reverse and, you know, see it coming and beat it. So I think Jonathan Blow's wrong about what his game's about, and I get to say that now. And we should cover that on Scanline. Or maybe something that's... Or maybe
Scanline about Jonathan Blow?
Yeah, Jonathan Blow's game isn't as good as he thinks it is. And it's better than he thinks it is. He's wrong. No,
yeah, that's a take that I love making. Like this thing is way better than its fan base thinks it is. Like, what?
Yeah.
I think that about Black Mirror a lot of the time. And Undertale.
People turned on Black Mirror at some point.
Yeah. People
as more people were watching it.
Yeah, people liked Black Mirror until people realized that everyone understood Black Mirror because it's really obvious. And then they were like, oh, Black Mirror's bad, it's so obvious, technology bad. Like, yeah. People realized that they weren't special, and then Black Mirror stopped being special to them.
But that's why it's good. It's so blunt.
Yeah, Black Mirror is like a really interesting take on the it's you know, anthology stories of stuff series. So I just found it like
fourth season very much.
Yeah,
I've been a Charlie Brooker fan for like 10 years.
Yeah,
but also I have to like convince people that Nosedive is about capitalism?
Yeah, I have not seen
Because, like,
season 4 yet because I.
that's season 3.
Oh, I've seen that one. I'm just generally saying I haven't seen season 4. But carry on.
That's the one part where I think like I need to make an analysis video on why Nosedive is about capitalism. Because it seems like people don't get it, and it feels really obvious, but I guess I have to be the one who says it.
Mm. So
But
I decided to film myself for the hour it took to wallpaper this wall for this video. And I'm in my coat because it's freezing cold. This is like winter. This is like middle of November. It's freezing, and I've got like a podcast on, and I'm just wallpapering a wall. And I don't know. I filmed it. It was like I've got an hour of it.
Do you remember what podcast you were listening to?
I don't think I was actually listening to a podcast. I was listening to a bunch of Dan Olsen's old videos, I think. And like, I think I might have to check the audio, but I think I was just talking to myself as well about Batman v Superman. And like, I was using this as a chance to make notes for a video I haven't made yet.
Speaking of Dan Olsen, when do I get to be in a call with him again? That was great. I love talking with him.
When I'm done streaming Nier Automata, I'm having guests on for streams again, and then to do other games. And you'll probably collide at some point then.
Okay.
I mean, the last thing in the chat is Ace the Degenerate saying you missed the chance to put so many weird things on your ass.
Yeah, I mean,
keep
there's only
checking
8
the chat,
people.
and it's the same comment, and it's just, oh no, I keep thinking now it's, I could have put googly eyes on.
You could have. It's too late now.
It's too late.
I'm very glad that you didn't do any of the things that are going through your head right now, reading Ace the Degenerate's comment.
Yeah.
Whatever they are.
It's a good name. Ace.
Is Ace is Ace like a noun, like a name, or is it a verb? Like, are you acing the degenerate, or are you Ace the Degenerate?
It's a name, not an invitation.
Anything?
Or is it a mispronunciation of ass, like a stylization?
Ass the Degenerate.
Ah.
I think I shot. Yeah, this was me shooting the material, the like original green screen test. This is me fooling around with all the script bits and lights and stuff, making sure I'm in focus and stuff. And this camera that I'm shooting on is no longer in my possession. I should not have bought it. It was way too expensive and it didn't really add anything, so I sold it. It's silly of me. It's an Ursa Mini.
I'm not against showing my face in videos. I'm thinking of like, I'm wondering, like, if I did get a nice camera and lighting setup, like, how would footage of my face clash with the style I've currently given myself?
You never know. But it would clash in a cool way. Like, oh, this is really overproduced for a weird video debunking nonsense on the internet. And then
Yeah,
gain a following with that.
I want people to have that feeling.
Yeah.
Because
Gosh.
it is, like, I equally prioritize the information and the aesthetic of it. Like, they're the same in my mind.
I'm so glad I got to show off all of these effects and stuff. So by the way, hi, Aislinn. I didn't realise that was your YouTube name. I know now. I'll keep that in mind for future reference. One last thing I just wanted to mention was, like, these shots, the white balance has to be different for my skin to look human. So when this like fades through, this is white balance, the color that white actually is balanced to. This was meant to be pure white for the void. So I have to slowly color correct it back to white for the void sequence to actually work. So that wasn't like a intentional, interesting, cool color change, fade, transition. That was, oh shit, white's wrong. I have to fix this. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bathroom before we wrap this up. We should think of anything else that's left to say. One sec.
Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for specifically Shannon or Eric?
Write it or do most of it.
So, but also, like, how are you doing, Shannon? I didn't really have a proper introduction.
Good, I'm sick.
Oh,
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Like, I'm very happy about this video for one, but
Really happy about the reaction to it because I didn't know. I was really proud of what Harry did and what we all did and everything. I was really happy with it, but you never know how people are going to react when you do something that's different or that deals with some really heavy topics. I didn't know if people would be offended or like what was going to happen.
yeah,
And people really liked it and responded to it.
and like, because I was thinking about it musically. I was wondering if anyone was going to notice the music at all. Well, to say the beginning of the thought again, I was wondering if anyone was going to notice the music, like in the video, but actually a lot of people did, and like it was substantial to people's experience of it, which makes me happy.
Yeah, people really.
Yeah, it had a huge, especially on the segment when we come back from talking about the room and then it's like more menacing. It had a huge impact on, I mean, through the whole thing, but especially that part and some other parts on the tone and how people took it in.
Yeah, I had that in mind, that there would be sort of lighter, more video SAE music in the beginning, and then like have it switch to be more like disturbing in the second half. But then like the second half shrunk a bit, so like I just have that one song there, but it's a good song.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
That sound of like the horns slowed down as just like a sound, like that is so creepy, and I'm so proud of that I was able to put that on the scenes of you and the killer talking and have it fit.
Yeah, it felt like something out of Lisa. Like, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Lisa's soundtrack, by the way, you probably don't like it, but it's got some good bits.
Every time I'm in a stream with you, I talk about how much I like the Lisa soundtrack.
Oh, I think every time I say, I assume you don't like Lisa as well. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's awful, but for Lisa specifically, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, if for any other game, it would have been terrible.
I was really proud of this zoom where I recreated the zoom from the video, and then it's just there. It was a meaningful shot to me. Do you produce your music on Audacity? Asks Jordan Hoxie.
I did once. There's one. I mean, my super early albums were made on Audacity, and they're unlistenable garbage. But then there was one later that I went back to it, and it's actually okay. It's called Copy. It's from 2016, and but yeah, right now I produce on Ableton Live 10.
Nice. That's a real music thing.
And you know, like I'm thinking, like Harry, you've been mulling about like making some kind of action experience in game form. Like that's when I'm gonna take the most influence from the Lisa soundtrack, because like I'm wondering like what would it sound like if the Lisa soundtrack was made by someone who actually like knows music theory and how to write a song.
Ooh, sick burn. Well, then it wouldn't be the Lisa soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean the Lisa soundtrack is the Lisa soundtrack because it's so discordant and amateurish.
But yeah, but if the same principles were applied to like music, it could be really good.
Yeah, like I'm wondering, like that's the route I'm gonna take on Died to Death, if that ever goes into production.
Died to Death. You hate that title so much, and you still want to work on it.
I hate it. I really
I think it's
dislike
incredible. I'll think of a better name eventually. It's awful, though. I'm sorry.
I mean specifically because like I'm never gonna play a game called Died to Death ever. Like if I just see that on the store, I'm gonna think like either a 13-year-old made this or like some 25-year-old who thinks he's being clever.
So what's his name? Eric Jaffe? Jaffe, the guy who made God of War, or one of them. What's his name? Richard Jaffe?
I don't know.
I'm gonna live look up the name of the game designer who I'm thinking of.
Like I feel like I have a connection to the God of War series because like they made Kratos hot like really suddenly,
Yeah.
but I don't actually know anything about it.
David Jaffe, like, all of his games are like that exact kind of kid-like amateurishness you're thinking of, like Twisted Metal. Like he made the Twisted Metal games, and God of War. And his original plan for God of War 3 was really interesting, and I'm really sad they didn't get him back to direct that one, because like in his it was like it had a lot of like religious commentary on it that was really interesting. But and then he did Drawn to Death, which is actually really similar to the title I came up with, so maybe we can't do it now. That is just like a bad third-person shooter that's designed to look like a kid's school drawings, but they're actually just the kind of drawings David Jaffe probably does to this day at age 47. That's the sad thing about designers like Jaffe and the guy who made Gears of War. They have the one mindset that they had when they made those games forever. It's like Richard Dawkins. Like, Richard Dawkins is right about one thing some of the time, but he lives his entire life as Richard Dawkins, and that's like, I feel really sorry. Like, not for him, because I don't, he's rich, who cares? But I feel sad that there are people who like can only function in that like one context. For the game they made, and that the game is 10 years old, so now what are they gonna do? Like, oh. Fucking... What's his name? The guy who made... What's the guy who made Gears of War? I'm so bad with designer names today. Cliff Bleszinski. How do I get that name wrong? Cliffy B, like...
Oh.
His last two games are just like, follow the leader, let's make another thing that's the thing that's cool. It's just, I feel so sorry for him. Oh. He sucks, but I just wish he didn't. It's lost. It's a lost cause, When a designer isn't as good as...
Also search for Shigeru Miyamoto.
No!
Why is he in the also search for?
Oh, yeah. People also search for him. People want to know what he's up to.
My funny games analysis is actually gonna close with a little thing about Jonathan Blow. I've decided, because I like it. I like this new trend of video essays having morals. Like I really like that. Yeah. And the moral of my funny games analysis is that sometimes it's like okay to have a huge ass ego in art. Like, in fact, it's good normally.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, at least. Yeah, I think like Jay Blow, his ego is in a really good place for Braid and The Witness. Like, it made for a good game with a somewhat interesting thing to say. The Witness, not so much. Kind of, I think, almost.
The Witness is interesting because it says nothing.
Yeah. Like his point that art is pointless is explored so thoroughly that he accidentally says a lot of things that are way more interesting. Basically, it's fine. But after the success of The Witness, he kind of got a bit full of himself, and now I don't think he could make a game as good as those two. I think he's like too much. But I think to a certain extent, having a high opinion of yourself can be good. Like, Eric's music's good, and he thinks he's good. There's probably a correlation there.
You need to be able to stand up for yourself and your ideas, but you can take it too far and be myopic about it, and not listen to other people.
That's it. Thank you. You're cleverer than me, so you said it right.
But thinking about Braid, it specifically, it's good because Blow had the confidence to completely explore how the mechanics interacted with each other, usually at the sacrifice of the player's enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like, in exploring what happens when you travel leftwards through a locked gate in the fourth area, you end up with a puzzle that, like, if you don't think about it, it's just trial and error. And zero punctuation comes on and says, this is a flaw.
Yeah. I that key puzzle is great. And like, if you want a game that's just that key puzzle incarnate, check out Steven's Sausage Roll. It is like openly. J-Blow frequently describes it as like his favorite game, or like as the best example of a puzzle game, and it's so good because every puzzle, it's like incredibly simple mechanics. You're a single square with a fork that's another square, and that's it. And you can only move backwards and forwards. You have to slowly turn to cook these sausages. And every single puzzle, as soon as it starts, you're like, how the hell am I going to do this? Every single puzzle is a new way of interacting with sausages. And it's incredible. It's the best game, and I wish there was a whole video in it, but it's so good that I couldn't talk about it for 45 minutes. I could only talk about it for like hours or 5 minutes.
I recognize that the name. I know Joseph Anderson did a video about it.
It's so good. It's I bet he did. It's a fantastic game. The sausages are just they're in my mind. Like when I finish playing that game and go do something else, I find myself interacting with my keyboard differently. Like if I make a mistake, instead of going to that spot and changing the text, I delete all the text to get to the mistake to fix it. Like I'm walking backwards through the steps of a puzzle to the bit that I did wrong to fix it. Like it gets into your brain. It's beautiful. It's a really good game.
That seems like that's definitely what The Witness is trying to do.
Yeah, it's really all the 7 people watching should play Steven's.
Sounds cool.
It's really good. It's like, I think it's pretty cheap, and it's like anyone can run it. I think you can run it on a sandwich.
I'm gonna look it up, see how much it costs.
Yeah. It's so understated as well with just its music. 18th of April.
30 on Steam.
Is it really $30? Oh, it's $30. Wow.
Google.
Wow, I'm gonna check now what the reviews are. Oh yeah,
$30.
It's like a 20 to 70 hour game based on how based on if you're basically you either play for 20 hours and give up, or you play for 80 hours and beat it. Like it's incredible because it doesn't have any like plot well, it has plot, actually, it has a story, but it doesn't have any like stuff to distract you. It's just like it's just this world of sausage puzzles that hurt. I love it's really good. It's really good. Anyway, I think we're done with kind of talking about the stuff that was worth talking about. Regards to the video, stuff we did that was working. We answered the questions that there were, and I should get some more questions in advance to answer on the stream next time when we do something.
I'm gonna add Shannon on Discord real quick.
Oh,
hello,
friends.
Friends.
We're all friends.
Ending.
But apart from that, I think it's gonna do it. So, thank you.
Wonderful.
All. Thank you all for coming and hanging out. And I want to do more of these. So, tell your friends.
It's fun.
And, I've got to cut this together now for everyone else to see. So, cool. Thank you both for hanging out just to talk about this video that was a pain waiting for me to finish after you did all the hard work really easily.
It was worth the wait.
Thanks for deciding to commission someone to make a soundtrack for your CAD video essay.
I wanted it to be like as much like a real production as I could manage, and that seemed like a thing to do. So yeah, thank you for agreeing to do it and for being along for the ride. Like, you were on board since like November, so
yeah,
I'm glad that you all stuck around waiting for me to get it to a place where it could be worked on. So thanks.
Thanks for including me as well. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I'm so happy to have had you do it. It would not have been anywhere near as good or even probably ever finished without you. So thank you.
Of course.
And the first, it's actually just turned the first, so I'm going to start being paid by Patreon. So I owe you some money. So we should probably, I'll talk that through later. It's not for stream. It's not for you.
So, secrets.
secret. So
that's another thing I have to thank Harry for. Like, he's decided my rate pretty much, so I don't have to like.
Yeah, like I was like, tell me how much money you want for this, and then like.
I didn't have any context.
You didn't
for
have
this.
one.
This is
You
my
didn't know
first-
what you wanted. So
This is my first job.
So I was like, I said this. I don't think I said this to you. I said this to myself. I want to pay him this much money for this, and I'll figure out his rate backwards from there.
Nice.
I was like, there isn't any way I can get Eric to accept however much I said I should give him. He would say no. Like, you don't believe in selling music online.
No,
So-
I believe in being paid to make music.
to make music, but you don't believe like. So it's hard to.
Because this album wouldn't exist if you didn't ask me to make it.
Well, that's a compliment. Thank you. I'm in that way. In that case, it's thanks to me it exists in a way. So
Yeah, thanks to you, and
So-
that's why it deserves to have money for it.
yeah. I hope to pay you more money in the future to make music, or just in general.
I really hope
Money.
to finish this dang video about like how I believe art works as a commodity or how it should work, because like there's a big language barrier between us almost on this issue.
Yeah,
but also it takes a long time to explain my thoughts on this. So
yeah, I think your golden calf video, while even I think you say you don't stand by all of it, it definitely was the best way of figuring out what you mean by it, and I think it did elaborate really well. I think it definitely convinced me more on the issue of copyright. I agree with it largely, but just not within our current system. We've had this argument.
yeah, I
before,
hope I hope to bridge that gap with this next video with the Golden Calf Part 2. Because in the Golden Calf, it's like I just get possessed by a libertarian, and I'm like, oh, the market will sort it out, and it's bad.
But also, like there are communist markets. Like if there was like if people no longer needed to work to survive, or if people were guaranteed an income, the concept of the market would shift into a different place. It's possible for there to be a free market of ideas that actually works, but you need the actual markets and society around it to be altered. But yeah, like I'm saying, like that I've just realized we've opened the box on an issue that's so complex that it'll take hours for us to talk about it, and you should take your time to write that video because that'll be really good.
Okay.
I'd like that. I'd like to, I think your videos are very convincing, so definitely the best way to convince me to take your side was probably to make a video rather than try and convince me, because I'm such a dullard. I probably won't be convinced by the truth if it's put in my face unless it's in a video. I suck.
Yeah, I'm like
Honestly,
that too, actually.
Yeah. And that's why I should make a video about how much David Wong is wrong.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I DM'd him to say, like, by the way, this was a really fun conversation. You're a lot more fun to talk to than a Nazi.
What do you say?
I don't know what he said
Who is
yet.
this?
David Wong, author of books that I should probably read at some point. And also, man wrong about minor thing that I argued with today.
Oh.
So, gotta figure that out. Anyhow, I should do that on my own time. Thank you all for coming and hang out. And apparently
Thanks.
the stream died for some people and they left and this didn't come back to check if it was back up. So, I need to figure out what happened to them and put this stream up. So, bye.
Bye.
Bye.